Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of Stat Check. This episode is called The 10th Commandments because we couldn't come up with any good names about 9th edition, so we're just jumping straight to 10th. Thank you, everybody, for being with us here for another episode of the waiting period between 9th and 10th, where nothing of relevance has happened for 9th edition, and we don't know enough about 10th edition to tell you anything interesting yet. So at this point, if you're here for us, which we love, and we thank you for that. We appreciate that. But if you're here for stunning indictments on the meta of 10th edition, we ain't got that yet, sorry.
Soon TM.
Soon TM. 3 weeks.
Soon enough.
3 to 5 weeks.
No, don't do that.
Had 6 weeks.
No. Okay. The latest that this could possibly... Actually, I'm not even going to say that because I'm going to curse myself if I do.
Looking forward to the July release.
No, they said June.
GW can be delayed.
And stores have started getting boxes.
I'm looking forward to like a boat just Tokyo drifting into the Panama Canal again.
I'm going to say right now, they probably already have everything at their distribution centers at this point.
He said, desperately hoping.
Yeah, praying.
At any rate, thank you everybody for being with us this week again for the holding pattern between editions. We are going to be doing a little bit of a general chat about what we've been up to. We'll be doing the standard stuff about some of the new releases, what we think looks cool, what we think is interesting, what we're worried about, mostly what we're worried about. And then we'll be doing some general. We'll be doing the stats for the last events from the last few weeks, and a general meta discussion about 9th edition. As we wrap up the edition, we'll be doing our reviews of the state of 9th edition as it's been. 9th edition is all Stat Check has ever known, not individually, but as an entity. So we're definitely looking forward to having a bit of a look back and touching on that. So that'll fill out the last couple of weeks. So even when the events stop, we won't be stopping. And we'll also hopefully have more news about our 10th edition coming plans and all that cool stuff coming up soon. But without ado, let's go into it. Anthony, you were not here last week. Would you like to start? How has your last 2 weeks in 40K been?
It's been pretty good. We had the all-enveloping stress of a team tournament list deadline. So I honestly think that's the most stressful thing in my life at this point, which speaks pretty well for the rest of my life. But like by far, the most stressful part of my given year is whenever lists are due for a team tournament. So we ended up submitting. I think the lists are all locked now. I am not playing Black Legion like I originally put in. I am playing World Leaders. I got so many messages when my army list went up as Black Legion.
I feel bad that people do that to tournaments, but I also do it every time. My list is always like Elysian Drop Troopers or Fallen or something.
So, yeah. Black Legion is the best because it's like, I might do that. I played a bunch of practice games as that. I really did, but it's not better than World Leaders, so there's no world. So yeah, we're gonna see if on the back of foot dudes with shields, my team can win a tournament. Because we have a lot of those across all the lists that aren't mine, and we'll see how it goes.
What's the rest of your team playing?
Ultras, Necrons, GSC, Guard, and Eaters is me. So we'll see how it goes. Whee! Team events.
That's what we live for.
GW has definitely chosen a very strange system. It's like I can't believe it's not differential. So if you
let me just pull it up so people can talk.
If you win 4 games, you're locked, and then it's like points differential after that.
And then if you win 3 or 2, it gets squirrely.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the version of differential that requires you to be the most brutal because it's pure BP diff. So like if you can 100 to 10 someone, you should.
Mm-hmm.
An important lesson I learned in Alpine is you should maybe ask the rest of your team how the round is going before you're a tyrant about your victory.
Absolutely not.
But instead, what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of like really lopsided rounds for a couple of rounds. One of the nice things about the event, though, is it's only 2 rounds per day. So you're just like 2 rounds on the Friday, 2 rounds on the Saturday, 2 rounds on the Sunday. Peace.
Oh, that's actually really
I
nice.
can go to Bible study in bed really early because the rounds are done.
Yeah, that's right. I'll have McDougal's with me, so we'll get up to trouble. But yeah, the rest of the crew will be doing their Bible verse and bedtime pretty quick. But yeah, or maybe I can use this as training to corrupt them for when we get to WTC. Who knows?
Get them reading Corinthians 19:1, and you'll have them all prepped.
Yeah. Well, we'll speed run it, right? We can go get it done fast and then go out, and then that'll be how we get it done.
For anyone
you
who
can
is
have
wondering,
them out for drinks before their normal bedtime, and then send them to bed at normal time.
Now you're getting it. You're understanding the strategies. So, yeah, I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. It's a good way to ride out the end of the World Eater 9th edition experience. I've actually, for as much as I normally play on Games Workshop terrain, have played World Eaters once on Games Workshop terrain. So, yeah, that'll be an experience.
You get to pick the board you're playing on, like with some degree of control, right? So you're learning one terrain map. I only know layout 2.
Yeah, as one of the planned defender boys, I will often have my choice of whatever the fuck I please. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It should be fine. I think we're quite confident going in. There's some teams to go in that are really, really good. And in those rounds we will sweat and work. But we are the only team that is compromised of literal professionals, so it should be okay. You would like to think, anyway. Who fucking knows? It's teams.
You lose,
especially in I can't believe it's not diff. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm very
rocking up to 100-7. Some people, he's like got his can of spray paint to make sure you're not getting battle ready.
Yeah, sorry about your battle ready, bro. My current record's 100-3. I don't think I'll be able to beat that, but that is my current record.
After paint or before paint?
No, that's after paint because they weren't painted.
Oh,
yeah, I'm lucky.
I think the worst I've seen is 100 to -7, and that's because someone wasn't painted and had a late list penalty.
Oh, I've never done that. I haven't had someone screw themselves that hard and then get blasted by me. I normally just wouldn't play that person, but this guy was 2-0
get weird.
It was the last round of an RTT. He was 2-0, and we played, and this was early in the edition, and the TO had said there was a magic box in the middle, like a 8-inch by 8-inch magic box, and he was playing Admech, and I went first, and Dawn of War is Blood Angels.
Piled your entire army in there and said, no.
Yeah, like literally my entire army was in the square, and then the game just ended on turn 2. I killed actually 2,000 points of his army on turn 2, and I was like, okay, see ya. So yeah, this is fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some stuff and also some things. I feel like I've done something 40K related recently, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, so never mind.
Booked have you booked 4 new holidays to go to Cambodia or something? Or
no, nothing too crazy. I mean, we booked our WTC travel, which will be sweet. We're going from New York to Belgium, and then from Belgium we're going with me and Anna are going with Typhus and Yulia to Iceland, and then we come back to New York after that. So that'll be sweet.
Nice. You got your Harlequin tattoo yet? Like, these are all the things I can be thinking about.
No, I have not gotten that yet, but this in 3 days I get my Blood Angel tattoo from LVO with Jack, so that'll be fun.
So what you're saying is by the time WTC comes around, you might actually be caught up on tattoo bets in order to make another one.
Should be caught up in theory by the time WTC.
Anthony is going to be a walking billboard by WTC by the 11th edition WTCs.
I'm hopeful, yeah, man. That would be sweet. Like, all of the tattoos are from like really cool things, so I'm not mad to have,
if we do a stat check, if we ever do a proper stat check open, we'll get a cast of Anthony's leg that we'll draw the tattoos onto.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. What about yourself, Jeremy? Have you run 7 more tournaments in the last week? Or
no, actually, it's been really quiet. I have one more event to clock out 9th edition, and that is a team tournament in 2.5 weeks, the 10th. Which, as far as we know, is also the pre-order date for 10th edition. So, but yeah, basically half of Team Canada and myself are going up to driving 6 hours to Sudbury to try to steal a trophy from some poor Northern Ontario schlups. But it'll be fun. Team events are always a blast. They're always the most fun way to hang out with friends. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm doing right now. I'm painting the lion, hoping that he's good in 10th, and that's where I'm cruising right now. I'm going through these reviews, going through all these things, and hoping that
breaking
the indexes just Canada fall off the back of a truck, please. GW
to fall off the back of a digital truck.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think digital trucks exist or work that way. Or
well, you see, the internet is a series of tubes.
That way, yeah.
No, well, it's not a truck. It's a never mind.
It's a
Track
digital
it.
truck.
Yeah.
It's a digital truck.
Fine. I'm free from my tech prison. You can't hurt me here.
Sorry, do you know that like that meme with like the capitalist guy getting like a drop of oil at like getting like fed from a gusher? It's like
Yeah,
that to playtesters, and then Jeremy's just like, "Please, sir, a
on the
scrap.
bottom. Yeah.
So please, I'd like to know what I'm playing, what I'm making my team play for WTC. Please,
I want to know what I'm
please."
subjecting Francois to.
I assume we're just making Francois play DJ. Like we're just gonna crowdsource that happening. Like if we bully him enough, like
Yeah.
no, I'm sure it'll be fine. As for myself, I played in my 2,000 point RT with Gene Stealer Behemoth. It was really weird. The list was actively terrible, but it was great. My round one I played against like the Art of War Custodes list from ages ago, and like outshot it with 4 Venom Cannons, which is great. It's what you like to do. It turns out the army doesn't deal with like 1-up save -1 damage very well.
As a general rule of thumb now.
Yeah, it was great. And then the tyrants just sitting there like, yeah, so we can't be interacted with. This is great. Then round 2, I played double Storm Surge and a Town R in the 1-0 bracket. Don't ask. I don't have a lot to say about this game.
I should round out my single score with just like a couple of Scottish events.
Apparently, Scottish RTTs is the place to be. And then game 3, I played against 30 Desolation Marines. So, just that little bit of whiplash in there. I will say one thing. If you're really struggling with Desolation Marines right now, play Behemoth Tyranids. It's quite funny because you can just run like a whole bunch of 2-up save stuff that gets double benefit of cover and just be like, so my Tyrant Guard are wounded on 5s and save on 2s. This seems good here.
Yep.
And then if you were to play a better version of mine, you could run like 15 of them and they can all fight on death. And that would actually be pretty funny. So yeah, we collectively between us scored like 30 on secondaries because Desolation Marine spam and Tyranids not known for their secondaries. But I maxed out primary and scraped the game by like 11 points. It was awful. Mostly came down to like Hive Tyrant behind like 1.5 Tyrant Guard that would tank like a squad or like an army of Desolation Marines and like nothing else in the army. So
nice.
It was good fun. Highlight was definitely the one Gene Stealer who took 4 squads of Desolation Marines to kill because he was behind Dense and saving on 4s against Desolation Marines.
Yeah.
Like, whee! 4s. If I'd gotten the Maliceptor buff up, he would have been wounded on 5s as well with the -1 strength incoming attacks, and that would have truly been glorious. But that guy like died to missiles out of impulsors on turn 1. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a powerful list, strong energy. But yeah, other than that, I played a bunch of Legion. Got to use I finally painted a model for that, so I got to use my Darth Vader and beat some people over the head with him, which was good fun. Other than that, not much. I've got a Tempest of War 1250 point RDT on Friday, which I am playing Twisted Helix Gene Stealer at because I've played my Marines. I've memed with my Marines. I've memed with my Tyranids. I got a meme with my GSC, and I've completed the Trinity.
That's right.
And I felt like it was probably a little too much to bring Bellacore and a Lord of Change at 1250. So, which was the only other thing I would have been like, I want to play this. So this was my last 10th event, or my last event before 10th. And I actually don't have an event planned until like July now, which is really weird, but whatever. I guess I'm taking June off to learn an edition. So yeah, all's well that ends okay, I suppose. And yes. Anthony, wait till you see the NZWC logo. He's only seeing it every day in the shower once you make a tattoo bet.
I mean, you're welcome to take the tattoo bet that everybody else has taken, but you got a better chance of seeing Jesus than placing higher than the American team. So good luck, Alex.
And then what's one faction you really wouldn't want tattooed?
Admech?
No, that AdMech symbol's dope. It's our fucking.
Actually, that's a good one. That's actually a really nice one.
Yeah. So what's the name of the Ignore AP 1 and 2 ability that they have? Would you get the words of that, the name of that?
Maybe. Fuck. I don't really know. Most of them are cool in some way, shape, or form, and I only take tattoo bets related to events that were dope. So it's hard for me to be like about like that's the point, right? is that the tattoos are difficult to look back on and be like, what the fuck did I do that for? Every so often I'll look down and be like, oh yeah, I have a Team Australia 40k tattoo on my thigh because I'll forget it's there and then go to do something and be like, oh god, and I'm like, oh right.
There's a kangaroo on my leg.
Yeah, for real. So I don't. Maybe the Tau one. I think Tau is the only army in 40k that even the lore. I'm like,
the one you got to avoid is the Imperial Aquila, just because you don't want the connotations, especially with how short you keep your hair. You maybe don't want that one.
It's quite different though, right?
No, it's just a double. It's just a double-headed eagle, man. You don't.
Want it's close enough to some symbology you generally don't want on your body.
You don't want that heat.
Yeah, I mean the WTC bets are easy because it's country logos and the thanks Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
And the bets outside of that are all pretty straight. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a thing.
One day will be good, and I'm going to get the Scotty dog tattooed on you. That's my goal.
Go for it. You don't have to be good. You just have to be better than us.
Yeah, that's what I said. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Templars is probably another no-go.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that one.
That's fair. Right, Jeremy, do you want to give us the stats for all the people who are still following 9th edition and do have tournaments and things?
Sure. So it was another quiet weekend. I have a feeling that we're going to have quite a few quiet weekends as we head into 10th. It's not necessarily that people aren't showing up to events. It's just that events aren't scheduled. This weekend, there was again 7 events total, I think. And it was, there was 7 events total. And that was one of those. So going through, I'm going to go through the top 5. I'm not going to filter by 10 or more players because things just get funny when you do that. So rounding up the top, Asuryani with 18 players, 5% of the meta, a 66.3% win rate with 2 event wins, 5 top 4s, and a 3.52 over rep.
It's not quite White Scars, but it's pretty close. Oh,
that's okay.
Did you hear what the over rep for White Scars was last week?
Yeah, it was 12.
Yeah, I watched that part. It was like 1 million, right? Because
there was 1 White Scar player last week. There was twice as many this week, by the way, and they had a 50% win rate, and they still had a 6.34 over rep.
Let's go, my heroes. They've seen the light. They've seen the way. Right at the end of the edition, we
hilariously enough, one of the ones that went, I think he went X1 or X2 at the Alberta Classic. He was running 30 White Scars Terminators with Gilliman.
Yeah.
Let's go, my heroes.
No. All right. Gene Stealer Cult, 4 players, 1% of the meta, and a 63.6% win rate, but no top 4s. So Iron Hands, 9 players, 2.5% of the meta, 63% win rate, and 1 top 4 for an over rep of 1.41. Chaos Demons, who are the 3rd most represented faction when you don't have Marines together. 6.8% of the meta, a 58.9% win rate, 3 top 4s, 1 event win, and an over of 1.58. And I will say that event win was under the Stat Check name because it was our good friend TJ Lanigan who won the Maryland Open this past weekend, a 6-round, 87-person event, I believe.
Yeah, whole bunch. Very many.
Big event. Grey Knights, 7 players, 58.3% win rate, but not a single top 4 and not even a top 10.
What?
Yeah, don't know how you would do that exactly, but sure. And then you have Leagues of O10, 20 players, 5.6% of the meta, 57% win rate, 2 event wins, 3 top 4s, and a 1.90 over rep.
It's not bad.
And then we'll go to the bottom because the bottom's always fun. There were 5 AdMech players this weekend.
Good for them.
For a 1.4%. There's 1 more AdMech player than Gene Stealer Cult player. And they had a 34% win rate. No top 4s, no top 10s.
Should I think AdMech to my Tempest RET? I've only got 1,000 points in them. But...
You could probably borrow enough to go up to 1250 and meme with some really dumb Ryza list.
In this economy? You think anybody owns an AdMech?
Just Paul.
Paul does.
All right, yeah.
Paul lives so far away from me.
Scotland's tiny, right?
It can't be that far. There's an upper limit to how far from me.
It's at least an hour.
Oh, an hour. How terrible. Anyways, Tyranids with 10 players and a 2.8% rep had a 37% win rate and no top fours and a single top 10. Because I want to make Brendan sad, Deptus Roritas, 5 players, 1.4% of the meta, and a 39.3% win rate, and not a single top 4 or top 10.
Man, that army's so bad when the good players leave it away.
Yep. And then right in the middle of the pack, because it's always fun to make fun of them, Deptus Custodes, 24 players, 6.8% of the meta, and a 48% win rate with
Perfectly
one top
average.
4. Perfectly average, as they should be.
They don't have
Necrons
to
are right
up win
next
the
to them.
game, Jeremy.
Hmm?
Why don't they have to up win the game? Like, I don't understand how these poor Custodes players are supposed to survive without to up win the game.
It's because that they're not taking the Orion. The Orion has the you roll a d6 and on a 6 you win the game.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
Can you deploy that?
Depends on who you ask. I know someone that'll argue.
Well, actually, it doesn't matter because it starts off the board.
Oh, right.
And
Easy.
it's an aircraft. So it just deep strikes wherever you want it to. Sorry, it comes in from strategic reserves wherever you want it to.
Wherever it can go. Not wherever you want it to.
I like how Jeremy froze while saying that because, like, big Orion was trying to stop him from telling us anything.
Yeah.
Taos. You'll see the Custodes finally get the 2-up invuln that they deserve in 10th.
Yep, we're going to be talking about previews in just a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the stats for the week. I do want to highlight a couple really quick things because since we are coming towards the end of the edition, I am starting to go through and look at the data that we have collected since the beginning of February 2022.
So long ago.
Right, give me 1 second.
He has to wait because his Excel sheet's going to murder his face.
No, the Excel sheet is preloaded. I was smart this time around. I'm actually looking for the figures that I created because I don't know what happened to them.
Oh, that's fun.
Did you put them in the chat?
I did put it in the chat, but I was just loading up that Excel file. But this one is much lighter, so it's not as insane. So one of the things that's really interesting that I've been looking at over the last couple months is comparing 2022 to 2023. Tail end of the edition, so things get a little weird, but it is also really interesting to see how many more players we have this year as compared to last year. To date, we have 44% more players having played in events at this point in the year as we had in 2022.
That is a fucking lot.
Almost
now
half as many again. That's awesome.
That includes like duplicates and whatnot. When you strip it down to just unique players this year, it's 42% higher.
So there are some amount of people playing more tournaments, especially as we've like come out of COVID and stuff like that. But it's built up a little bit. But there are just 40% more people in the community, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's wild. Like to date, we have had almost 7,000 people, and this is just GT Plus. We don't look at RTTs because it's just
too much.
We don't have the bandwidth to do that. One day, I hope we do. But from a GT Plus perspective, so 5+ rounds, 25+ players, we have had almost 7,000 players playing in events.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, no, I am just floored. The game is growing at an immense rate. Same time last year, we had just under 5,000 players. Yeah, and then one other fun fact is, I think that's really it. Oh yeah, my database now has 174,000 games in it.
Wow.
33,000 player entries, of which about 21,000 of those are unique.
How many of them are Innis?
I mean, I can tell you how many events Innis has gone to because that's always a fun one.
It's too many.
Yeah,
this is not including all my RTTs and team events as well.
I know that's the really fun part. Would you like to know Innis?
Yeah, of course.
So Innis Wilson has been to date. That number doesn't seem right.
Great.
It says 15 GT Plus events in the last 16 months.
Yeah, that does sound.
That's low. Not even close.
Yeah, that does sound low. Pretty sure I've done like half that in super majors.
I know why. Oh god, it broke.
Jeremy immediately starts lagging when he touches the sheets.
I'm gonna stop touching things, so hopefully it stops dying. Yeah, for some reason it's still only showing 15 for him. I'm sure my Excel sheet is just sad. Actually, no, I have a better way of doing this. Give me 1 second. Because I have a cool little thing. I can say that Ennis Wilson has a 93.5% win rate in ARCs in GT Plus events.
Christ.
21, 1-1.
That's a few.
And the one was the semifinals of Super Major.
Yeah, exactly. Haidar, to answer your question, 42% more players have played a GT or bigger at some point this year.
Yeah,
I don't look
this
at
is from
ITC
our
scores.
data, not from the ITC.
Yeah,
data.
this is me exclusively looking at my player records and my game matches. That doesn't include people that like sign up to a GT and don't show up, or sign up to a GT and get handed a round 1 loss because they didn't show up and then don't play the rest of the event. All of that, because I filter all of that out. Yeah, this is exclusively these people have played a game, provided it's a real event. But who would create fake events in BCP? Certainly not me. But yeah, in my records, you have 19 events, GT Plus.
Yeah, that tracks. I just got out my spreadsheet. I think I have 19. And then 21
that makes
GTs on the edition.
That's more than a GT Plus event a month.
I know. And that's not including the roughly, well, I mean, that's 19 events.
That doesn't include your team events, which you've had, what, 5 in the last 16 months?
And the rest.
Yeah, and then RTTs and everything else.
February. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 9 events up till February 2021, 2022. And then I have done 45 tournaments since February 2022, sorry. So in the last 15 months, about 3 events a month.
That is pretty solid.
I maybe play too much Warhammer.
You don't play as much Warhammer as the person who is in the lead, though.
Probably not.
And that would be TJ, who has 24 GT Plus events in the last 16 months.
Yeah. Gaming.
TJ also does less team events and RTTs, though, I think, right? But
yeah, a few less. Yeah. He still plays in them, though. He was at why am I drawing a blank? Alpine Cup.
Alpine, yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. TJ still plays a ton, but I don't know. I would actually be interested how close the number is.
For sure, definitely.
Knowing you both, I think Ennis is slightly more active, but it's very close.
Yeah, I mean TJ also has a real life, right? So
that's true. TJ also has not lost a game since in GT play since March.
It's not bad
because he went 6-0 at the Maryland Open and won it.
But
6-0 at the Richmond Open and won it. 5-0 at Berk Spring Assault and won it. 5-0 at Alpine Cup and finished second because battle points. And then before that, it was Adepticon in March.
He lost at
He lost in Alpine teams, but not in same.
No, he lost in Great Game. He just hasn't lost his demons since March.
Yeah. Great Game was in March.
Oh, was it? Jesus Christ.
So, Anthony, what was the last event you were at?
Oh, man, it's been a while.
The last event you were at was All Is Dust at the end of March.
Yep. I was at Alpine, too, but I didn't play the singles.
Yeah. The last GT event. Again, I don't track team events.
Yeah.
But, Brian, I can't imagine playing that much Warhammer. So cringe. Yeah, says the second ranked player in the world right now.
Yeah.
Brian actually plays more than I do because Brian goes to like every event I go to and a bunch more. So
I don't know how he manages to do it.
I don't think his job is a real job.
I was going to say I've seen him work. And that's for me.
Fair. All right, that's it for the stats unless someone else wants to go ahead and take a look through things.
Ben chipped in $5 towards the database storage fund. Thank you, Ben. With your contributions, we can afford to store one more of TJ's tournaments.
At some point, this PC will get upgraded because it is starting to show its age.
I mean, if we can pay for Nathan's flights for our announcement, we can do that. We can eventually get sorted, right?
Yeah, that'll be a later thing, probably after the WTC.
Sure, but should we maybe do that then?
What?
The announcement, the cool stuff?
Yeah, we should actually announce that. Do you want to? Do you want me to?
Yeah, you go for it. You've read it. saw
Yeah.
the
All
thing
right.
in the
So,
chat.
this is something that we've been working on in the background for a little while. Thanks to your guys' lovely support and absolutely support that just floors me most days. We are able to partner with the WTC. And by we, I am referring to Typhus and Nathan, will be working with the WTC officially in providing coverage for the WTC proper. So they are going to be present at the event. They're going to be taking place in streaming it. They are aiming to have a studio setup similar to Football Saturday. For any Americans who may know what that is, I have no idea what it is. But they are partnering with Contact Lost. Nathan's going to be there. Nathan Roberts is going to be there. They will be doing interviews, pairing analysis, and then deep dives into different topics all over the place. And then they'll also be handling social media and doing floor interviews in between games, the kind of stuff that everyone really enjoys at events. And as part of that partnership,
We'll come back to
all
that.
right.
We'll come
Brandon,
back
who
to
is listening to the podcast, friend of the podcast, Dan Morris, just sent us $100 as a donation to start for Anthony to help cover his tattoo when he loses their respective bet.
We'll see, bitch.
To be fair, the Red Dragon logo is very nice.
It's cool.
But yeah, so that'll be working it. So StatCheck's supporters have essentially paid for Nathan's travel to the WTC. Yeah, that's one of the things that we're able to do now, thanks to all of you guys pitching in that $5 a month on Patreon.
Yep. So StatCheck is basically, I think we're officially partnering. I don't know what the terms are.
I don't know the exact terming of it, but we're working with them.
Yeah, we're officially partnering with the stream for WTC to be providing as much content as we're there while we're on the ground. I think everybody but Cliff is going to be there at this point. Tim's there with Team America, Anthony's there with Team America, Jeremy is there with Team Canada, and I'll be there with Team Scotland. And obviously, now we have Nathan and Typhus both there doing the coverage. So there will hopefully be an absolute ton of WTC content. We've got a bunch of stuff planned for the pre-preparation for that as well. So things like the newbie stream that we did last year, we're hopefully going to be doing that again. We've already got some feelers out there for who we're getting on for that. So we'll hopefully be doing a ton of stuff like that to just, it's our favorite event by far. So doing the most we can to get it out, to get as much of it to you guys as possible. And that's why we put Nathan up to the thing of, hey Nathan, why don't we just give you the money and you just fly and you go do the stuff. So we're doing that. So massive thank you to everybody there. Nathan unfortunately couldn't be here tonight to say thank you himself, but we'll make sure he remembers to thank you all next episode, because otherwise you'll get too big for his boots. We can't have that.
No, we can't.
Cool. I'm going to do the plugs now, because we want to continue to fund doing more cool stuff like that. And to do that, we need your guys' support. You guys' support is what makes this all possible. It's the reason we continue to be able to do this. As much as we all love doing this, website hosting and shit like that isn't free. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, for taking part in the live streams, for being in our Discord community, all that kind of thing. It enables us to do all the cool stuff we're doing, like what we're doing with WC, what we'll be doing with Cali Cup, all that kind of thing. So if you would like to continue to be able to support us with that, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/statcheck. $5 a month gets you access to our Discord, where you can interact with us in all of the super awesome ways that we are able to provide. Mostly like making fun of Anthony for things. You can do other things in there too, but broadly, I think that's what it's for.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's like at least the number one or the number two thing that Discord is for. Yeah. Otherwise, we greatly appreciate all the things you can do on the social media side of things. So that's recommending us to a friend, chucking us a like or a review or a follow or whatever it is on whatever various platforms that you're on. I don't really care which one. Like, hit a button that makes us number go up for us, and it's a massive thanks. So we would love it if you could do that for us. It is a big help, even if it is not a lot for you guys. It helps us with visibility. It helps bringing more people in. We're hitting pretty consistent numbers on the live streams now. The YouTube numbers are just getting bigger. It's great. We love to see it. Thank you all for everything you continue to do for us. Leave a comment. That's the one that's always the easiest one. Interact with us. We'll do our best to interact with you back. If you can't be here for the live streams, it's a great way to, ask us a question or fire us something through. We do our best to respond to everything that's in there. There are a couple other shows on the network. You can check out X&1 and Enter the Matrix. Enter the Matrix is our Teams Focus show that's run by Typhus, who will be at the WC. Now, if you want to get prepped for the WC because you want to know what the hell you're watching, maybe go check it out. Wouldn't be a bad show. Wouldn't be a bad shout. And X&1, which is our show about becoming a better competitive player while having other life commitments, which is run by Tim and Cliff. That's coming out this Thursday. We unfortunately got delayed a week, but they will be coming on with Francois to discuss what it's like being a notable French-Canadian player, and how it is to be the only notable French-Canadian player, and whether that actually makes you notable or not. Love you, Francois. Finally, myself and Typhus do offer coaching, so if you're interested in hearing more of the random crap that we spew out, do check us out. We're more than happy to help you out with anything, whether that's a last 9th edition tournament, prepping for 10th edition, or once 10th edition drops, if you want to get a head start and tap into all the knowledge that we will be creating, I suppose, at this point. To check it out, that is coaching at stat-check.com. Just drop us an email there, or check out stat-check.com/coaching for all the information on the website. That's the plugs. It's getting somehow more and less scuffed at the same time. I'm doing my best because it's the energy I like. We're going to go into talking about the 10th edition stuff now.
They somehow get more and less scuffed every week.
I don't know how. I genuinely have no control over myself while I'm doing this.
But you still do a better job than any of the rest of us would, so.
Yeah. Let's maybe hope. I want to see Anthony do it because that would be fun.
My goal is to just see how fast we can get Innes to try to rip through them, and as we keep adding shows, it gets funnier.
Yeah, we're just gonna add like 3 or 4 more shows, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right, Innes, you have 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah.
All right. So this week, in terms of faction focuses, we must just go through them. Last Wednesday, we saw Death Guard. And hello, John. Good to see you. Good to have you on watching us. But yeah, last week on Wednesday, we saw Death Guard. We saw that they kept their -1 toughness contagion.
Look,
and they lost disgustingly resilient.
And I'm just gonna say it. That was hands down the most disappointing review we've had so far.
Yeah, they're disappointingly resilient.
Past disappointing, it was confusing. Like,
yeah,
to the point that when other reviews come out now, the metric we use is at least it's not Death Guard. Holy shit. Maybe it's just because I was like holding out like a soft hope that maybe I would be interested in them. Mm-hmm. But like, boy, as someone that doesn't even own Death Guard models, that was still the worst thing I have seen so far.
It was quite disappointing because it's one of these things where we know that, or we don't know, but we assume that every faction has something that's interesting about them and something that's cool about them. They didn't showcase anything for Death Guard. Like, they didn't even talk about the fact, for example, they now have plague bolters that auto wound.
Yeah,
which is actually pretty cool.
Like, that's a good way to devalue your army mechanic of -1 toughness. That's for sure.
Sure.
The thing that confused me the most about that is that it's still only -1 toughness in an edition where like toughness goes to 16 or whatever now. Like,
maybe they have enhancements that increase it, make it better.
Triple it. And it would be like,
no, show it would be the answer there. Like,
yeah.
Okay, Chris Tech, wait till K-Suns get their review, please. Now,
I honestly, as somebody who owns like the entire Death Guard range, right? I've got my 3 Plague Scholars, my 3 Mythic Blight Haulers, my like 25 Terminators.
The rods are so
like,
cool.
60 Plague Marines. I got it all. I have the special Japanese Plague Caster.
Nice.
There is nothing that makes me want to play that faction in that preview. I guess the Plague Crawler looked kind of good. But the Plague Crawler is always good. Like, it's not news.
That was the best part of that, was being able to be like, that is a classic Death Guard amount of information where everything sucks until the end where they get to see the Plague Burst Crawler, which is good.
Like
perfect.
Why didn't they show us Mori or anything good?
You got to see your true Primarch, the Plague Burst Crawler. We just went over this.
I want to see if Mori and 3 Plague Burst Crawlers is even close to viable. I'll play that in RET 100%.
Yeah. I will admit them not showcasing Morty was very much a decision when pretty much every other army has showcased something like genuinely big. Yeah, okay, the Plague Burst Crawler is a big model, but it's not actually like centerpiece style.
Yeah. So we're going to show off Abaddon, Bellator, Gulliman, Angron, and
Plague Burst Crawler.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the energy. Like, the only way it could have been better is if they showed off the Volkite Contemptor, but just for Death Guard. That would have been the other thing, like more 9th edition Death Guard.
One of the other things that we can kind of talk about that we now I think no, is that like combi meltas, combi flamers, combi whatever, those are just gone.
The combi weapons now.
It's now just a combi weapon, which is anti-infantry, 4-up, devastating wounds, rapid fire 1 shot, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, which is.
Thanks, McCorp. I really appreciate that.
His face is a great example of how to do non-metallic metal today.
And it says lighting is really
that glow is actually, I mean, it's catching the light exactly where he should.
OSL effect. This is how I'm painting my Darth Vader's lightsaber.
Yeah, just off your forehead. That's how you do it. You just.
But yeah, it's unfortunate that that was how it is. So let's just move on. I will say the Malignant Plague Caster's abilities look pretty cool.
Hey, we're moving too fast. We need to slow down to 4 inches so Death Guard can keep up.
Well, unless they've been shot by some form of thing that reduces their movement, which they now take.
I don't think barb guns exist. That doesn't seem like a real issue that I'm going to buy 30 of.
On accident.
Yeah, I'm going to have 60. Let's be real. Leviathan boxes are not going to be expensive for Tyrannid players, but
no, they won't. Well, depends how good Tyranids are.
No, it doesn't.
I know. There's Marine players outnumber Tyranid players 3-1. So
that's it.
I mean, I can tell you what the actual numbers are, but yeah, probably not that much right now. When Tyranids were at their peak, it was like 2-1.
Oh,
yeah. When Tyranids were the best army in the game, they were only outnumbered by Marines 2-1.
Marines also have this like really weird floor to them, where people just won't stop playing them even when they're garbage. I mean, I'm one of those, so.
What do we have after Death Guard, Jeremy?
All right, after Death Guard, we got the Imperial Knights. And this was a great preview. I loved it.
Boy, is everybody still arguing over whether that's reroll all ones to hit and wound or 1-1 to hit and wound.
I can't them to be that bad at reading. It's not well written, to be fair. But
it's not well written. It's definitely only 1 as it's currently written.
But...
Yeah. As it is currently written, you reroll a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll of 1.
But I've never met a red knight player who could read, so let's stretch the.
They did. That's definitely the Smash the Beatles army to start. As someone that started with Chaos Knights,
so he started with Imperial, played his first ever GT with Imperial or second GT with Imperial Knights. Absolutely.
Yeah. Tao's with a good point. They made the rapid fire battle cannon actually rapid fire.
Yeah, that's pretty gaming. I did appreciate that, although I despise the amount of damage it does now. But...
I like the idea of dual wielding them as a Chaos Knight and just being like plum, 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 plum.
Especially if there isn't a huge points premium on that. That could actually be a really scary platform.
I'm just assuming because they seem to have
18 shots for no good reason.
I mean, they seem to love
18 shots.
They love Age of Sigmar design, or at least parts of it. So good odds that there's no points premium at all, right? Yeah.
But yeah, like the I will say, as someone who played a lot of Knights during 9th, I do really like this army rule and then the detachment, because the army rule, the Code Chivalric, which is what they had before, is now much more streamlined and a lot easier to explain to your opponent.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
because before you just felt like you were cheating when it was like, and I get an honor for doing this, and then I roll a dice, and if I get a 5, I get another honor, and now because I have 5 honors, all of my knights are OBSEC, and anyone that was already OBSEC now counts for additional models.
Yeah, it's like that.
And your opponent's just looking and going, "Uh-huh."
Have you ever seen the ProZD video about the guy, like, when he's doing, like, Magic the Gathering parodies? And he's like, and I will now summon the cheese guy. And the cheese guy gives me 5 big cheeses. 5 big cheeses allows me to summon Mickey Mouse. But the parody version, so it's not illegal. It's like, it's how it felt playing Imperial Knights.
It always reminds me of the, Anti-Donna videos, where it's, like, how to play a board game. That video is the best. Yeah, sure. No point values at all. Fuck it.
We're now AOS 1.0 again.
Yeah, you don't scare me.
Boys. Yeah. How much can you fit in your carry-on luggage?
The Iceland team's about to win WTC for once.
Oh, you know what's great? Bruno's military. He gets 3 free checked bags.
I mean, Iceland
will rich. We got as many as we need.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Iceland will buy the plane, bro. Like, what are we doing right now?
You're already there. You got to think about this.
Actually, that's a good point. Couldn't Sean's father-in-law just buy you guys a plane?
Who? Oh, yeah, theoretically, sure.
And then their detachment ability, they just were like, all right, everyone plays Tyrannus now. Here's a 6-up Feel No Pain. And when you do your deed, you get a 5-up army.
You're never going to get to do your deed. Like, it's never happening.
I don't agree.
Doing the deed is challenging.
I don't I think some warlords are going to be much easier to body drop than
Yes,
people
warlords
think they are.
for sure.
Like I think that one's borderline easy.
Whereas holding your opponent's home objective is in your command phase is less likely.
Yeah.
Usually if that's happened, the game's already over. And then we saw the Warglaive stat line. Warglaives are T10, which is kind of cool.
T9 of the Death Guard.
Yeah. No, Flight Lords are T6. The thermal spears melt to 4, so that's kind of cool. Doing the deed is challenging. God damn it, Chris.
Got him.
Yeah, Imperial Knight sure was a preview. We did find out from the Chaos Knights preview that bondsman abilities will now apply to both halves of the Armiger and Knight combo, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That is, depending what those are, that's wild, because some of the ones they talked about were things like lethal hits, sustained hits.
Lethal hits, sustained hits, devastating wounds, like just one of the three. Like, it'll be fine.
Apparently, larger Dominus Knights grant Armigers protection of their wider ion shields. I'm a little terrified about what that's going to mean.
4 of them will save up my Castellan. What?
Now, the Castellan has a 5-up, but the Armigers have a 4-up because they're sitting inside the big dome.
Yeah, they're getting Truman showed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that was Imperial Knights. The Thundercoil Harpoon was hilarious because it foreshadowed the combination that I'm really worried about happening, which is having anti-anything devastating wounds, which they've now done. All that they're missing now for the trifecta is to throw Twin Linked on something at the same time.
Woo!
I mean, we saw it from the Sisters Designs as well. They've got anti-psyker and devastating wounds or something like that. So.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
it's going to really suck for your malignant playcaster.
This is true.
Getting chased down by the guys, but the Sisters are like 3 inches faster than you. It's like, where do I go? Where do I go?
Yeah, you go nowhere, you die.
Get in your Rhino, run.
T-shirt with USRs on it. We could definitely sell that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah, Nathan, get on Canva, design that T-shirt with all the USRs on it. We can sell that with the Stat Check logo.
Yeah.
Probably not. That's Imperial Knights. We saw Tau. Tau is kind of cool. For the Greater Good is actually really well written, and it is very well written. When you actually read it, you actually have to read it.
Have you seen the thing that Pathfinders? No, the Pathfinder thing, though. No.
What about?
So the rule is called For the Greater Good, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pathfinders have when using the Greater Good ability, which doesn't exist. So.
Yeah, sure. There's a typo.
Yeah.
That is fine, but the actual wording of the Greater Good, very well laid out. Some Discords and some channels were talking about being able to chain the ability so that everything could end up being guided, but no, because once you've shot, you're no longer eligible. Yeah. Anyways. They get Cayenne as their detachment. Cool. Except it's only ever on
Codex.
Yeah, it's only ever on mod 6s. And if you're guided, you get sustained hits too. Cool.
Well, it's not only ever on mod 6s, because if there's ways for you to get critical hits on 5s, you'll get it on 5s. Right?
True. And if there's a way to get critical hits on 4s for some reason.
Why would you bring that up? Why would you even put that out there in the world? What the fuck?
You're just waiting for crit hits on 3s, mate. That's what Gulliman's getting in the Codex.
In the meantime, we will redeem this by pointing out that drones are now just war gear. They don't have wounds. They are models, but they're markers. And shield drones just give you 1 wound.
I can't wait to see what the people who own
40 shield drones.
I hope they're so mad.
I hope they're so mad. I hope all of them are bathing in salty tears right now.
See, all I need to see now is the crisis suit data sheet. And then if it is not great, everything will be fine in the world.
I hope that data sheet is Death Guard level terrible.
Ooh, why would you wish that on anyone else?
I hope they've not only lost cyclic iron blasters and airburst fragmentation projectors. I hope they're actively twice the point they are now and shoot half as hard.
I hope they're bad, yeah. Or have some other horrible change happen to them. I hope they just suck. I hope that Kroot spam is the way to run that army.
Yeah, no, actually that would be hilarious. Is if the index all the stratagem and everything just build around running an auxiliary army.
Yeah.
I hope Vespid are the only battle line available to the Tau army.
Yeah. There you go.
No, Kroot Hounds are the only battle line.
Yeah.
All that said, as much as Tau have caused me pain this edition, it looks like their new rules don't suck. That article actually made me pretty excited because maybe they won't be awful to play against now.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
they
hate
look
Tau,
like they're
just hate crisis suits. Nothing against the Tau army.
Yeah.
They look like they'll be interesting to play. And again, yet another thing we talked about this last week and the week before. No more ignoring invulns. So the railgun is heavy and devastating wounds now. So it seems, I think we can say pretty confidently that GW's design philosophy was to replace ignore invulns with devastating wounds.
Yeah.
Because almost everything that used to ignore invulns now has devastating wounds. Almost.
I don't know if Be'lakor does.
Be'lakor and Scarbrand?
Scarbrand does not. Be'lakor, I can't remember.
Scarbrand's profile is like clown shoes, though.
Oh, yeah. Scarbrand's profile is, would you like to kill whatever you are touching?
Yeah. I suppose it doesn't have a 2-up invulnerable save. We'll get to that.
Yes. 6.
And then
they showed off
8-1-2, which is a little less. But...
Yeah, they showed off the Storm Surge's Pulse Blast Cannon, which is cool, sure.
Yeah, Be'lakor does not. Be'lakor has lethal hits on his strength 14 attacks. That feels necessary.
Okay. Yeah. And then they showed off Combat Embarkation, where you charge a unit of Tau infantry and they hop into their transport.
Which sounds like it's just going to be a mechanic on the repulsor, which I can't wait for personally.
Yeah, if it's a datasheet ability on the repulsor, that'll be very funny. But it'll also mean I'll have to go out and buy a repulsor just so I can play it once. Just
you should have one anyway, so you can play Iron Hands in the current map.
I'm probably going to be playing Iron Hands at my team event, so I'll finish 9th by playing the stupidest army there is right now.
What? You're playing Swift Strikes?
And that army is fucking ridiculous.
All right.
I've never known an army that's fucking ridiculous, but only 7 people know about it. It's incredible.
It's true. All right. And we saw Chaos Knights. They got their harbingers of dread. They got their dread table collapsed down into 2 lines, which is Battle Run 1 and Battle Run 1 onwards. You're -1 when you take Battle Shock tests within 12 inches of Knights. That's actually pretty impactful when you look at it. Because you're taking it on 2d6 and most things are leadership 6 or 7.
2d6. Darn it.
Sure.
If
you're in Synapse range.
You think you're actually going to get to play Nids? You're adorable.
I know. I have no idea what I'm playing.
And then Battle Round 3 onwards, anytime you're attacking something that is Battle Shocked, you add 1 to the wound roll, and anything that is attacking you, if they're Battle Shocked, they subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Plays around leadership, plays around the whole thing that Chaos Knights are spooky constructions that, terrify you.
The Abominant kind of slaps. That day she was cool looking.
Yeah. And then their detachment rule, Force and Terror, is that if you're below starting strength and within 12 inches of a Chaos Knight model, you have to take a Battle Shock test. And
it is not any damage, not just below half.
Correct. Yeah. So if you've lost a model and you're in a multi-model unit, or if you are a single model unit and you have lost any wounds, you have to take a Battle Shock test. And that couples with the other one, which is you're taking it at -1. The one thing that is not clear is whether you have to take 2 tests if you're below half strength.
If you're an Abominant.
I'll have to see.
Because that would be very funny.
Imagine how much healing you can give a demon army that you can't shoot.
Yeah. We have noticed this, that the Battle Shock inducing armies also have some really horrible counters in demons.
Yeah. Demons make them very sad if they don't get scammed.
We saw the Knight Despoiler datasheet, which actually gave us a sight into pretty much every single weapon that both Imperial and Chaos Knights can take. And since they were the same in the previous codexes, I think we can assume that they're going to be the same now. They just gave them fancy names.
Minimally similar. That Gatling cannon's nuts.
Yeah. No, I meant like in 9th edition, the 2 of them had the same profiles.
Yeah, I'm saying yes, I agree, assuming they do them the same. Unrelated to that Gatling cannon is insane.
Yeah, 18 shots at 622 is wild. It didn't lose AP like a lot of other guns did, and it gained half as many shots as it had before.
Admittedly, it's kind of been a trash gun this edition. From my 7th and 8th edition, recoil memory, it's an absurd weapon. But I've really not seen a Warden or even the Crusader really that much this edition. So I don't mind it getting a facelift. It just gave me whiplash seeing it go up 6 shots.
Yeah, like the Tyrannus Crusader was really fun, but that was it.
Yeah, it was like you could do the calculate targeting combo with it, and it was kind of fun. But
and even
really
then, you were
broadly
usually running the
fast.
relic that gave you 12 plus D6 shots and an extra point of AP, so it was an upgrade on the base one.
And made you an assault weapon, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
right.
Which was so fun. Other changes that we noticed that was kind of interesting is that the thermal cannon is 6 inches shorter in range. It's now strength 12, which means that they've now fully differentiated between being a Melta gun and a like big thermal gun.
Yep.
And it's Melta 6. So you get within 12 inches and you just add 6 to your damage, which...
Do you know what? Fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're within 12 inches, so that's usually the scary zone for
15,
most other
right?
things.
For
no, because it's 24 inches now.
24
inches. It's 24 now. Sorry.
Yeah, they shortened its range from 30 to 24.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was 36.
Yeah, so that was one of the other things that changed. Battle cannon looks the exact same. One of the things to note about the battle cannon is it went up to strength 10, but it's now just AP 1.
Same as the Women Ross one, right?
Yeah, the exact same like offensive stats, just the number of shots is D6 plus 3, and it's rapid fire D6 plus 3. So within 36 inches, it's 2d6 plus 6, and it's blast. So however the new blast works.
Yeah. That AP1 is kind of painful though, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
2 up, save, and cover, and you're like, yeah, so my knight did 2 damage this turn.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot a land raider and cover. Hi.
Oh.
Wounding on 5s, it saves on 2s.
Yeah, because you couldn't see a small portion of its left track.
Look, man, skill issue. Or it's behind a Baneblade.
What's it doing there?
I want to know what a land raider's doing behind a Baneblade. Are the Marines stealing the stuff a la Horus Heresy again?
Maybe no, because they've got the Fellblade from Forge line. Maybe that gets it.
Oh, or the Falchion?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, yeah. The other thing that they also showcased was the melee weapons for knights. Titanic feet have gotten even worse. There are now 4 attacks at 8-1-2, strength 8, AP 1-2 damage.
Good.
Somebody with still the fear of stomp, like, good, fuck him.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever been stomped is okay every time that weapon gets nerfed.
Yeah, or the people who misinterpreted the multiplying attacks on the feet and the crush them like vermin strat, where you took 2 mortal wounds every single time you got hit.
Oh,
that was bad.
The existence of like getting charged by a crashed Sadar last edition. It's like, please stop hitting me with your 3 rolling 12 attacks feet.
Yeah, that was. Let's just say we're glad that this is there. But then, like the actual dedicated melee weapons seem really solid. Like they have strike and sweep on everything. They have strengths, APs, and damage. That seems right.
Jeremy likes knights.
I do. Knights are fun. But yeah, that's it. The Abominant looks amazing though.
Abominant by far looks like the coolest thing that came out of that. Like just being able to make your opponent just dump 10 mortal wounds. It's great.
Well, not only that, but it's just like that model, that unit, 12 inches. Take a battle shock test right now, and because you're within 12, you're at -1.
I also appreciate the sheer audacity of like a strength 9 AP 0 damage 3 gun with dev wounds. Just like
no, it's strength 12.
Sorry, strength 12 AP 0 damage 3 dev wounds. It's like, hey, you're here to get scammed. One of us is. It's me or you, baby.
Yep.
There's no way neither of you are coming out of whatever. Like only one of you can come out of that situation happy when that gun fires.
Oh yeah.
There was never a possibility where you're like, that was average, or that was below average. You're either like, that did nothing, or my squad is gone.
I fucking hate that weapon, dude.
All right.
Custodians, I suppose, is the last.
Then today we got the Golden Boys.
We should just skip them.
Yep.
They have katas and they have a 4 against mortal wounds. We're done.
Trajan is an absurd data sheet. What the fuck?
We do need to dig the Death Guard hole a little bit more, since Alaris Terminators are now T7.
Well, they're tough, That's the point.
Yeah. They're resilient.
Yeah. But they have a weapon that hits on 3s, and that doesn't feel like Custodes.
It's unwieldy, okay? Have you seen the head on that thing?
No.
You're struggling with doing the deed, but you've seen the head on that thing, Jeremy.
Yeah, walk right into that one.
Oh god, yeah. As Brian says, Trajan joins a unit. Unit is immune to having their wounds characteristics modified by damage, right?
Oh man, if someone ever says that, I think you get to hit them for free. I think you get one.
I think I take their Trajan model and punt it across the room.
Or you could just do
You
that.
might survive that.
You could just do that to them instead.
If it's Brian, probably not.
Yeah, I'm not punting Brian across the room.
You can try though. He's not immune to damage, just distance.
Just find one of the canals.
It's true that the 5th best Custodes player in Iceland is a regular listener of both us and Art of War, so shout out to him.
Sure, guys. I lost track of that reference. Yeah, Custodes look pretty good. I was broadly very impressed with the set of rules they have. Having a forward field evading against mortal wounds seems incredibly potent. Yeah, fuck Custodes.
Yeah, I will say, for any Custodes fans that think that a 4-up against mortal wounds is inconsequential, you haven't been paying attention to devastating wounds for the last month, as we've been
or like
seeing
the
more and
game
more
for
shit
the
with
last
them.
2 years in general.
Yeah, that rule's nuts.
Like, I don't know if you ever tried playing like zone tropes into a Custodes player. It really sucked. Like,
I
mean,
mean,
stop it. Like, you know,
I was gonna say it's kind of fine.
Yeah, it was for other reasons. Like, your zone tropes were terrible, but anyway, no, I had the pleasure of playing against Emperor's Chosen Dreadnoughts, and it was like dumping out like 15 more wounds from a Maliceptor and it taking like 4, and I'm like, I really don't like this.
No, you don't.
No, I'm a big fan of the new rules. Derek is the gentleman in the chat that I played on Saturday who ran very far away from me. Right, let's move on very quickly to show questions. We've got about half an hour. We're going to bust through the ones in the Discord, and then we'll take what we can from the chat. Okay. Dan F asks, what's everyone's favorite faction and least favorite faction preview so far? I get this question every week now.
We're going to get this question every week now.
My favorite is one of the 2 armies that I'm likely to play, which is World Leaders or CSM. I was actually very happy with the 2 that I planned to play. That was cool. Love that. I'm really happy that the CSM one wasn't like on the 3rd blood moon of the 4th month in the year of October, reroll once to hit against Ultramarines on objectives. Which
that does sound like explaining Cold Chivalry. So
yeah. So thankfully we didn't get that. Good job, design team, for making CSM and World Leaders functional. Least favorite, probably Death Guard. It's probably not even particularly close. I'd be shocked if they put out another one that made me upset as Death Guard did.
Just you wait for GSC, baby. We can see how they ruin that army. That's the edition.
Nah, like I have a sneaking suspicion they'll make GSC confusing but fine. And like confusing but fine is way better than holy shit, I'm stuck with this for the entire time again. Okay.
Yeah, it's a full rewrite again, and Death Guard got the same thing as before.
Yeah, and you're just like, what are we doing? Like, this army's not been good the entire... Like, they came out bad. Like, when they were the power creep, they were still shit. What are we doing?
Hey, Playboy Claws were real good on launch.
No, they weren't. They were fine.
Yeah, that's real good for Death Guard, buddy. I need you to understand this.
Yeah.
Fine is good.
Ugh.
Anthony, you're a Chaos player now, sweetheart. You got to adjust your standards.
No, my standards are high, and Chaos will meet them or get left in the fucking rack cages. I'll go back real fast.
That's right. We haven't had our Drukhari preview yet. Anthony is yet to be disappointed.
It's true. I'm yet to be mad.
Yeah, too. Hey, Adam Camilleri. Nice to see you. In terms of me, favorite faction and least favorite faction preview, I'm going to agree. Death Guard faction preview just it didn't excite me about the army in any way. Favorite faction preview is actually Votan, because they realized that the token mechanic that they originally gave them was a terrible idea, and have replaced it with something that feels significantly less bad.
You weren't ready for them to get lethal hits 5s, lethal hits 4s, lethal hits.
No, it's lethal hits, but a critical hit of.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm actually really happy with how they did it. The beam mechanic also just being gone is lovely, because that thing led to so many arguments and so many misunderstandings and just so many feels bads.
I like that the Magna Rail hits on 5s. That shit's cool.
Jeremy, do you know the only time I've ever been beamed in a Votan game was when you put a wound on your own man fortress by your with your own tech marine. That's still
won't
the
bring
only
that
time
up.
this is the only time anyone's ever resolved the beam hit against me was that.
Hey, I didn't wound my land fort, so I was
You
fine.
did 1 damage to it.
Oh, wait, one. How do I do 1 damage with a beam?
I don't know. It was the graviton on the tech on your brokier.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. That's
the only time anyone's ever resolved an additional hit from a beam against
Oh,
me.
it wasn't even on the proc here. It was the assistant with
it was his assistant's plasma car. Yeah. It's the only time I've ever been beamed.
I thought for a second, I was like, no, because I have beamed my own forts, because against Joe, that same event, I did beam one of my own forts intentionally.
Hell yeah.
Right. As for myself, I think the most disappointing, factual, I actually didn't much care for the NID's rules stuff. Like the data sheets and stuff like that were really cool. Synapse and Shadow Lord were kind of boring mechanics, so I wasn't super hyped for that. But we had seen their detachment rules, which were super cool. But the actual faction rules article wasn't my favorite. Favorite one has definitely been Demons so far, though, because Bellacore and the faction rules both slap. I love the making your opponent punish for failing battle shocks, giving you benefits for passing battle shocks, and I really like the whole the shadow of the warp mechanic, like the actual getting cool stuff. That's what I wish the Terranid shadow warp mechanic was something that worked like that.
Yeah.
To represent more the way it works in the lore. So broadly, really enjoyed that mechanic. I thought it was really cool. Oh, excuse me. Are leaks a positive or negative influence on the competitive 40K scene? Asks Sam.
They are purely a positive thing. The only thing that they can be bad for is the larger company and people who have early access and insist that it is not a competitive advantage.
They also they're bad in the content sense, right? It sucks for people who are putting a bunch of effort into doing
that
reviews
part
and stuff like that. Yeah,
blows actually. That's a separate problem.
Yeah, this is asking specifically for the competitive scene.
But I think that the competitive scene, a lot of it is centered around that content, and the competitive scene getting that stuff early and getting to be able to feedback reviews on that is dependent on leaks not existing. So the externalities of it are bad, and I'm not we're all super I wish index would fall off the back of a truck and stuff like that. I get it. It hurts people. It really does. But from a competitive integrity standpoint, the sooner everybody has it, the more level playing field everybody's on. People are going to tournaments that are currently sitting with indexes, right? It's not going to be fair.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the price we pay in order to have community access to playtesting resources and things like that. So there are positives and negatives. But I feel really bad for all the people who are prepping a really good 10th edition core rules breakdown, and the core rules leaked, and now nobody's going to give a crap.
Yeah, because the content creators that aren't under NDAs are then just going to jump on it and be like, "Here's my video that covers all of this leak," and get out ahead of it, and they're the ones that get all of the coverage.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Which
you
really
get scammed for doing the right thing, which is
it's real unfortunate.
How much attention are you all paying to the AOS World Champs that are happening in the next week or two?
I didn't know they were happening.
Yeah, I'm not.
I see them on Twitter as they are happening. I follow a bunch of the captains and teams on that because it's kind of interesting. I will broadly pay attention. I will, thumbs up to the winners, but not really. I know, Honest Wargamer are doing a bunch of coverage for it. I will probably see it in my YouTube feed. I might click in and just watch 10 minutes here and there, but I'm not really following it. I don't really play OS, so
right.
Big ups to the guys who are running it though. The Dutch guys who run the Alliance events, and they're super great bunch of guys.
Nice.
What new things can people expect from StatCheck to follow the release of 10th edition?
There's a list.
There's a list. We have a whole planning section in the Discord. We are not quite ready to preview all of it yet, but that should be coming in the next few weeks once we have a couple of things more finalized.
The biggest thing is, of course, contingent on when stuff is made available, because
exactly,
because that matters.
We can only talk about what we've seen.
Will Cliff be on the show tonight? No, I don't know if you noticed, but you'd have seen him by now. Sorry, Grant. It's a weird question to ask us. Logan asks, with the rapidly growing popularity of Kill Team, will that eventually be added to the dashboard with its own show? If somebody wants to pitch us a Kill Team show and do all of the work, then
Get it.
We're
Get
happy
in
to
there,
give you
man.
guys a space.
yeah, we're happy to hear you out on your pitch. Let's go
Mhm.
with that. If you have a Kill Team show idea and you want to pitch it to us, we're not opposed to the idea. Drop
Yeah.
us a line. But we're not doing it. I don't play Kill Team.
None of us have the bandwidth for that.
Ines, Art of War recently referred to in their episode title as best player in Scotland. First of all, yeah, I was on an Art of War episode. You should go check it out. It was about my Iron Hands game at Warhammer Fest, and also like about my general like history with 40k and how I play. It's a super great episode. You should go and listen to it. Is it the honor to be a best player in the country with the GDP slightly below Kansas, or would you rather be known as one of, if not the best player in the world? To be clear, I think you're the latter as well. First of all, that's very kind. Thank you very much. I'm definitely not the best player in the world, but you know,
But
I
you are
appreciate that.
one of.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't mind being called the best player in Scotland because I treat being Scottish as a big part of my competitive 40k identity. I am first and foremost, above everything else, part of Team Scotland. It's what I care about the most. So no, I don't at all mind being called the best player in Scotland as opposed to one of the best players in the world because you know I like it better.
Fair.
Another Kill Team question. Sorry, we don't know about Kill Team. Why is Rapid Ingress the way it is?
Dude, if you
What's
can
our bet
fucking
on when it
find
gets
out, let me
nerfed?
know.
Because I really want to play GSC, and Rapid Ingress is there to lovingly caress me all the way to maintaining that 93% win rate.
Yeah.
40k is a strange game for strange people created by strange games designers. So
It
like,
is.
It's definitely an interesting interaction. I'll give it that. It's
No, it
definitely going to
isn't.
ruin a lot of games for people.
That's a very optimistic view that it will be interesting. I think
yeah.
instead what will happen is it will end a lot of games immediately.
No,
in
they'll
a way
just go
that-
for the gambit when it happens.
in a way that feels very similar to a gotcha that your opponent will not really have a clear, congruent way to play around without you disabling using the thing.
yeah,
I'd
it's gonna be
expect it to
great.
go to 2CP eventually.
I expect it's going to. I'd put money on it going to 2CP and once per game within 3 months. So
Yeah, I think the once per game is how you stop it. Like, I think too, you're again happy to. Yeah, I would spend if you had a strat that said 2CP win. Actually, that's a good different point that I think they could print that stratagem and people would still go, I don't know,
It's
man.
too
too
expensive."
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna have one. When am I gonna have 2CP, bro?
And I mean, what
Yeah.
if someone vects it?
Sure.
Because then it costs 3CP the next time I use it that game.
Yeah,
Because
that's
so many
rough.
players would complain it wasn't free with Trajan.
It's true.
You expect me to play a whole turn cycle before I have 2CP to spend on that? Disgusting.
In this CP economy.
That's so. I don't know. That's so ninja. What's your MBTI? No idea.
All right, that's a ninja. I'm going to call you out right now. We have a rule on the Discord. Your Discord tag needs to include at least part of your first name.
Okay,
Or
if,
just
if its name is that Sun or Ninja, you're gonna look so grand.
I know. I will have pulled a grant.
Yeah, pulling a grant.
Let's not make any jokes. People
And I
on the
will
stream
wear
don't
that
understand any of
tag.
our in jokes. If you want to know our understand our in jokes, patreon.com/statcheck.
That's right.
If the rumors of the mercenary book are true, what would you want to see featured in it other than crew? Zotes. 100%.
Crud.
Anthony's never read a lore book in his life.
Put it in the bin. That's not a real thing.
I would like to see somehow Votan are just in that book with all grudge tokens. Votan mercenaries.
Yeah.
You got like one squad of them with all rules. You can just bring one unit from like any previous edition and just like transport it to 10th or 9th ed. Just one thing.
Yeah.
And Anthony's like flawless host, Disco Lord,
Please.
Crusher Stampede Tyrant.
No. No.
Yeah, you can mercenary in one thing from previous rule set. Decan, double decan in 7th edition Wraith Knight. I'm taking it in every list.
Malefic Lord?
You know, spending 30 points on your. You can do so much better.
Yeah, but I get everything associated with him.
Atos for carries. Go big and go big or go home.
Haidar, I fully expect that at first Gambits will be included in tournaments.
I'm hopeful that they're not, but I'm confident that they will.
They will be, and they will not be a problem. Chill. It'll be fine. What changes are coming to StatCheck for 10th that you guys are excited to talk about? I don't know about changes. We have things, but changes, we're broadly pretty happy with the way we do things. We're going to be adding things, updating things, and modernizing things, but we're kind of staying the way we are. We like what we're doing, and we seem to be doing all right. So,
from the stat side of thing, I can say that we've been talking in the background. Two of the things they're going to be adding to the dashboard and also just our tracking is going to be country, so that you can break it down by where you're playing, as well as terrain. So I'm going to put this call out here, and I'm going to make a few more calls out over the next couple months as we move towards start introducing this. Players and TOs, please talk to your fellow TOs. Please talk to your TOs and make sure that they put the terrain rules in the player pack and linked in the BCP page, because that's the only way that we're going to be reliably be able to record that.
And if you also do something like putting a channel in Discord with like terrain from tournament and just like post a list of the tournaments from the week and be like, hey, if you rat this, let us know what the terrain is.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be doing things like that as well. But it's one of these things where like if it's already in there, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because we want to be able to lean into that. It's one of the questions that I've gotten. It's probably the second most asked question over the last year, where people are like, "Hey, do we have a terrain filter?"
And the reality, you guys check lists.
Yo, for real, that do checklist one is fucking.
I read them. I don't record them.
Yeah. Okay. Broadly speaking, how are your WTC teams prepping for the short time between the edition change and the tournament? Manically.
Yeah.
Not in ways that are healthy or good.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have an incredibly unhealthy relationship with 40K for 5 to 8 weeks, and then we're gonna stop playing until LGT. Like, like everybody does.
It's you. I'm gonna come back and play at a major.
Okay. You're not playing at WTC, so
I don't think I have anything between WTC and LGT. I fucking hope not.
I'm pretty sure I'm running a tournament between the two, but that's fine. That's not.
I think the closest I get is the tournament that I'm going. I mean, the concert that I'm going to the weekend before LGT. Yeah. Well, that's gonna be gaming for different reasons. I'm flying in on like the Friday. Like I leave the Friday night New York time, and the concert is Saturday night. So like I land in England in the morning, and I'm like, all right, let's go to a metal show tonight.
Yeah. I can also say from like the WCC team prep perspective, I'm having my boys play some Tempest because it seems to be inspiring what the GT packs are gonna look like. And it's also really funny to see competitive players that have gotten extremely used to the GT pack trying to write lists for Tempest.
Yeah.
I am broadly like letting my guys have a bit of a break just now, because I understand that we're going to be going flat out, and it's nice to have a time to like see your family occasionally, and do these things before I commit them to 6 weekends of intense torture. So
yeah, our boys are chilling because we're doing a lot of like people fly to the Northeast to practice for intensive weekends this year. So
makes sense.
Over top of like the TTS and the this and the that and I basically expect people to have hands on deck 7 days a week from go time to stop time. So
from whenever in June we get those rules.
A ton of prep in for like the things we're going to do once 10th starts. We're now in the wait till that stuff has to happen. Holding pattern.
Right.
Nathan, Nathan's not here. Sorry. What in the hell is hashtag we don't know? We don't know is a channel in our Discord, and we don't know. It just showed up one day.
It was definitely minimally inspired by my fury at being told that we don't have the full picture every time I would point out that a thing looked problematic.
To be fair, we don't know that it's problematic. Like the channel might be okay.
The channel might be fine. It might have spawned from that incident where I briefly lost my shit. It might not have. We don't really know.
It definitely spawned from that incident.
Yeah. I definitely had to update the permissions on it like 6 times.
Yeah,
like to allow people to like send messages, see past messages, the core temp. But now it's broadly devolved into a second shit posting channel, along with rumors for Doomers and Beans and Bears, which are also shit posting channels right now. Beans and Bears is some old stat check lore as well. I don't know if anybody who joins it now who
that is
knows more of what they're talking about.
Yeah,
that is the old magic right there.
I would have stayed longer, Haidar, but I have to get Anna back to her new teaching job eventually. So,
That's false.
yeah.
And how much are the crew looking forward to Indirect being too strong for another edition?
Oh, fuck, man, please, why?
I am desperately hoping that they change it from -1 to hit to -1 ballistic skill.
Pretty quickly.
Does that even matter? Is that enough?
It would
Yeah, because
help.
it means that it's not countered by heavy.
I guess. I don't know. Does dense not just like dense not existing? Fucking
Dense
I also like
dense
how long
appears
do
to
you think
not
before they
exist as a
just add
problem.
dense back?
yeah.
Yeah. So the changes that I would like to see to indirect is indirect weapons should never ignore cover.
Yep.
Indirect weapons should worsen the ballistic skill, so that way if you're shooting at something that also has stealth, you actually take a double penalty.
Right.
And I think at that point, it's very hard for indirect to be oppressive.
I think
Indirect should
that
also just like never be able to access things like dev wounds, lethal hits.
it
Just like
shouldn't.
any of those
I
keywords
think
just shouldn't work.
I think it shouldn't ignore cover, and it should give you +1 to your save. It should basically be the current buff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should change to be the way it is in 9th edition for 10th, rather than cover.
Although benefit of cover is fine because of
No, I want
No,
+1 to my
should be
save
both.
and the benefit of cover.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're
I
done.
think broadly,
Can't
and
be me.
I think also we should just say like indirect weapons can use the indirect weapon keyword or all their other keywords, never both.
Yeah. My
That would
concern
work.
is save stacking, but I guess that's since we're looking to just kill indirect, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think indirect should just be bad. Like, what's the thing I always say, Anthony? If you can't be
balanced, you get to be bad. Yeah.
That's true.
No, it's a privilege. It's you get to be bad. You can't be balanced. So instead of getting fucking legends, you get to be bad instead.
Yeah. All right. Haidar says that flyers are back and that their limit is gone.
That seems terrifying, but I guess we'll make that a start off.
I mean, it depends what the core rules around aircraft are.
Yeah.
They could be restricting enough.
If there are no good
Tim, we
aircraft,
don't know.
Yeah. It's like if the aircraft rules were never good, if aircraft were never pointed back poorly, they would never have been a problem.
Yeah.
Like if every aircraft was just shit, we could have kept the old aircraft rules. But as always, guys, always remember, we don't know. All right, that is the exhaustion of our Discord questions. So if anybody in the chat has any questions they want to burn through us first quickly.
I have a feeling that we should at least give Cultist Chance a question.
Because I think it's funnier to ignore it because he put it in the wrong one.
No, he put it in the right one afterwards.
No, he didn't.
No, he put it in show question discussions.
Oh.
Eric, buddy, we're trying to help you.
Eric did miss that a few times.
All right, let's be nice this one time, and then after that, Eric, put it in the specific dated show questions tag. Yeah. For each host, what was the best and worst new idea, trend, rule, concept 9th brought about?
Best is probably just like the willingness to balance things, like balance data slates. It's the best thing that came out of it. Like we had chapter approved. Chapter approved were bad before. They are good now.
Chapter approved were annual.
Yeah,
and they often didn't address the fundamental issues with armies.
They were like 6-month lead times as well.
Yeah,
which meant that it was just like they were not good because they were print publications. Moving away from like points being digital is an incredible like as far as like a rule of mechanic kind of thing goes. I think like the core rules updates, like the kind came with those were great. I broadly liked some of the ways they tried implementing like start of battle round stuff versus just start of command phase stuff again that they kind of took out from, because we had a bunch of that in start of 8th edition, like litanies used to be start of battle round. They moved into command phase and then they brought some back, which was kind of nice. So being able to do things like fate dice at the start of battle round, if they were like start of turn, it would have been kind of weird, which is why I always thought katars were weird for that, because katars are start of turn rather than battle round. Like it feels like if your custodians are going to be dancing, they can dance from turn 1.
Yeah.
But put them in the corner or whatever. So yeah, I think that's probably been some of the better things. The worst things is probably like I just don't enjoy D3+3 damage just as a mechanic. I think its proliferation was a big problem with how lethal the game got very quickly. Is that you suddenly just like all these random damage weapons that used to be somewhere between 1 and 6, and yeah, sure there was fields bads with that, but you could alleviate that in other ways. Just suddenly became like dark lances were the first indicator of that. Just became incredibly consistent kill a model, which I always found a little awkward.
I see. I like that way more than the renew proliferation of D6+2, which is
I
like,
like that.
the floor is one lower, but the ceiling, the ceiling.
I don't like D6. I hated D6 plus 2 on Heat Lances, on Talos and Raiders and stuff like that. So I think D6 plus 1 is fine. I prefer D6 min 3.
D6 min 3 is probably the right way to do it, right?
Yeah. I would honestly rather D6 min 2, but whatever, I get it.
Yeah. So, some way of making sure that you don't roll a 1 on your last cannon, because that always felt terrible.
Or 2D3. 2D3 would have been fine the entire
2D3
way.
is beautiful. So for me, I'll agree. Data slates was the best thing that GW did. It showed a willingness, and throughout the edition, they changed how they did data slates to like they went from like little tweaks here and there to rule rewrite because this doesn't work. And like their experiment with Armor of Contempt was frankly quite interesting. It was pretty fun. And then the thing that I hated the most was the arms race between wound gates and ignoring wounds mechanics that proliferated in the second half of the edition, where it was, yeah, I can only take 3 wounds a phase. Oh, but I ignore that. And by the way, this FAQ now says I also ignore -1 damage.
Yeah.
I was so glad they killed Reaper the same. They killed Dirt the same one that happened. I would have been. Could you imagine if I'd had both, like for like a week?
Be gone.
For like 1 week. 1 week would have been all I wanted. Just let me throw like a GT with.
Nope.
It would have been so good. Anthony?
I don't know. I'm not. I can't think of anything offhand where I was like, "Oh yeah, that was really cool." Once we started doing this, I think I didn't really like the interaction of like the turning off the other person's shit. Like once that started, I was like, like the
Turn off
like
rerolls.
Yeah, turn off rerolls plus a transhuman, or like the turn off rerolls, like. Or yeah, like that stuff where it's
Ignore
like
your
nice rolls,
invulns.
idiot. No, yeah. Ignore invulns, turn off feel no pains, like all that stuff was just like, what are we doing? Stop. I just really don't like the like 5-year-olds playing a game of imaginary swords or whatever with each other, where it's like my thing kills your thing. It's like, well, my thing kills your thing. It's like, well, my thing doesn't break to your thing that kills my thing. It's like,
Invulnerable saves into ignore, invulnerable saves into demon saves was definitely the funniest.
Yeah, that was the worst part for me.
Like I think demon saves was a cool mechanic. I just don't think ignore invul should have been a thing in the first place, other than like 3 things in the game. Like it should have been like Drago's sword into demons and like the Calidus and the Catan, and that would have been fine.
Yeah, the thing they did the best was probably like army flavor. Most armies played at least like very close to or felt like the thing that I assumed they would play like.
The only one that they completely failed that for.
I think Jesse is right. I think people just expected them to be a melee army when what actually is happening is you're driving through an American poor neighborhood and getting shot up for free from folks who didn't know we're there.
Called Gene Stealer cultists.
Yeah.
Gene Stealer is half the name.
The Gene Stealers were stealing your genes. The Gene Stealers were good. The cult part was happening too, though.
Cults are all about like ritual sacrifice with knives and stuff. Haven't you like seen any documentaries?
Or any? Nah, you've clearly not seen enough American cults, bro. We worship the bullet over here. I don't know. There were some armies that definitely ate it to that. There were some armies that did, like broadly though. I think they did a good job with that. At least any army
that's so thematic, terrible at everything.
Yeah, they were awful. That was right, and some people were happy to play them anyway, which is what being Nurgle's like. Imagine looking at the Chaos Pantheon and being like, "I want to be the fat one that smells." You deserve the suffering you got.
I already do that. Why would I do that in game? Like,
no need to double up.
Right? Shall we finish up on that?
Let's.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being with us again for another episode of Stat Check. This has been episode 45, The 10th Commandment. I'm Innes. This has been Jeremy and Anthony. If you'd like to support us a little bit, please do remember to do all the social things like hitting the buttons that I told you about earlier. Or if you want to support us a little bit more and you're in a position to, please check out patreon.com/statcheck. Or if you're more interested, check out the coaching from myself and Typhus. We would love to have you. We'd love to hear from you. best of luck to everybody with any events that are this weekend. Wish me luck at my Tempest War DT. We're going to find out if the Twisted Helix can do it, or if Chris's Grey Knights will take me down, because he's bringing 2 Dread Knights at 1250. What a monster!
Not bringing 3? How
I
disappointing.
know, right? He has 5 differently loaded out paladins that he wanted to use as if they were like a thematic kill team. So I gave him shit for that. But no, Nathan is not here. So Anthony, do you want to do the outro bit and just say bye-bye?
No, I don't actually. I don't have a fun thing to go out on though. Direct. I don't know what to direct my hate at this week. Fuck.
We're gonna make this a new thing. Anthony's thing he hates of the week.
God, yeah. Fuck cantaloupe and honeydew melon.
What's
There
a
we go.
cantaloupe? Just for